I know this theme isn't the first time it's starting over, but the first time I met Katy, am I giving away anything if I talk about this?
Oh, go ahead.
Was at the butcher shop. Does anyone recognize Katy from the butcher shop around the corner? All right, see, we got some customers here, Katy. All right. So if you know that butcher shop, you know the owner is a character, all right? And, you know, we're there, sitting there, and if you really know the butcher shop, you know there's a keg of beer in the back. And so, you know, you can go back there, buy some meat or not, but you can always get a beer or some bourbon. And, I don't know, we were on a bourbon. It was a particularly slow Saturday, and so Katy came and sat down and starts... what I usually do when I meet new people is like, what's your story, you know? Sometimes people get, you know, befuddled by that question, you know? But not Katy. And so she starts talking, and the friend I was with was like, hey, she should be part of your story slam. I said, yes! And here she is today. So let us please welcome, for the first time on the Tell Your Story stage, Katy Quinn Wilhelmi, our local butcher.
So my name's Katy, and I'm a member of your community, and I live just right up the road, and I work around your corner, and I have 4 felonies. And some of us have really know what it feels like to be cardboard box poor, because at one point, on June 20th, 2018, all I owned was this box, and I had a pile of stuff in storage, and I had a car that had been in an accident, and I didn't even have custody of my children. So I want to read to you something that I wrote a few months prior. Now, my life officially is a shithole. I wrote this to my mother on December 27th. I don't know if this actually got mailed or not, but I think it did. Excuse the language, but I absolutely hate this place. I got assigned a job, and guess what it is? Yard cleanup. So basically for a whopping 15 cents per hour, which is less than what Cool Hand Luke probably made, I rake rocks and more rocks, and I rake rocks and rocks and rocks while everyone around me smokes like chimneys in the freezing cold from 5 a.m. to noon every day. Meaning at this point of this afternoon, with no sunscreen because they don't give us that luxury for free, and my broken shoes, I'm blistering on both my face and my feet. I absolutely want to scream. I hate this shithole. It's the worst place ever. I had to give away my whole dinner for the stupid envelope this letter is going to be sent in. And that's true. I literally gave up my whole dinner, which we only got 2 on weekends, to mail that letter home because I really needed money on my books. So you're wondering why I was in this place. Well, I had 4 felonies because one day I took a plea for a crime I did not commit. What I remember about October 29th, 2016 was that I was in my vehicle and my head was getting bashed against the steering wheel. And every time I look at a steering wheel now, I always remember that day because it was like bam, bam, bam. And I mean, it just kept on happening. And I was driving, and Coke was thrown all over me, and I was punched in the face, and my rearview mirror was torn off, and I just remember crying a whole lot, like so much so that the snot goes through your nose, and it's coming out the back of your throat, and like your ears are popping, and just everything sucks. So I pulled over, and I tried to stop the situation. And I was like, really, I'd had enough, but not entirely. Because I pulled my gun out from underneath the seat of my car. It was right under the driver's seat. I forgot that I had it in there. All that time I was driving 5 miles being hit like this. My new car being torn apart. And I grabbed my gun and I pointed it right at him and I said, "Get the fuck out of my car." And he hit me again. And I told him, "Please get out of my car." And so he did. But before he got out, he threw my glasses and my wallet and he threw them out the window. And next thing you know, he's taking rocks and it was a really bad day. I was the one that called the police. I was the one that told the police that I pointed a gun at him. I did not shoot my gun that day. But 2 hours later, when the police caught up with him in this small little town that we lived, he told the police that I shot my gun at him. I did not. And they did not check my hands for gunpowder residue that evening when I was in a holding cell. And I was the only one beat that day. But that's okay. I ended up going to prison for that crime. I was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. That man had been awake for 8 days. I had been in an abusive relationship with him for 8 months. It was horrible. I lost everything. I lost my house, my job, my car had been in an accident. I lost that car, the one that had been beaten in, and I got a different car, which had been in an accident when I was in a prison. I lost custody of my children. Thank God my mother was there to take them. Thank God they didn't end up in foster care. And I went to prison, and it's shocking when you're in there. Like, I was strip searched 5 days out of 7 days of the week. I've had German Shepherds smell my ass. Like, it's abusive and it's horrible. And the food, some of it had labels on it. I have proof all in this box. This was what I left prison with. And I decided that I'm going to start my life over. Because even though I went there for a crime I did not commit any of the felonies that I went to prison for. That's okay. I had committed a lot before in other realms. I really did some major stuff, like 134 life sentences worth of shit, probably. Maybe more? How many of you have been kicked out of a state? I got kicked out. I actually got kicked out of a state. They're like, "Dude, get your daughter out of this state," and they did. So I left, and that's okay, because I'm accountable for all my actions. And I know that the reason why I was in that abusive relationship was a result of another abusive relationship, which was a result of being victimized of a crime. And I know that all these things perpetuated, and I didn't get the help that I needed at that time. And I had to hit bottom. And it sucked because I had to drag so many people down with me. I had to overcome 3 different drug addictions. I did, though. And I'm here. And I have this awesome life now. And so after I got out of prison, I started delivering pizzas. And it sucked. I made no money. I was living at my mother's house, and I hated that. And I had no freedom. And I was sharing a room with my daughter, and I had no identity. And it just sucked. But I was in school. And that was good. And I kept on in school. And I did the best I could. And one day, I had this brilliant idea of starting a pop-up strip club at a car wash. I know, the story has a happy ending. Had many. Had a lot of happy endings, probably. But regardless, I had nothing to do with any of that. I just, was able to save up enough money so that way I could move out of Arizona and I could start my life anew. And there's more to this story that includes, traveling out to, go to MIT maybe, and do some really great things with mathematics, for which I am 100% capable of doing. But I moved up here, and I moved up here to make my life better. And for those of you who never looked me up before on the internet, never knew about what I just told you, but it was all there. It's one of the first things you search when you search my name. You're like, whoa, she's got a whole crap load of felonies. Boy, she's a drug offender, she's a violent offender, she's a thief, she's this. And it's okay. So all my cards are out on the table. But I go through life every single day now repairing my karma. Because my karma, when I went to prison for that crime I did not commit, which I did not commit that crime. I'd never shot my gun that day. I never did. That was like the coup de grace of bad karma right there. That was like, I did a lot of bad things when I was a teenager, when I was a kid, when I was an adult. I did a lot of horrible things. And that was it. And I served it. And so when I got to prison, I realized I need to do something to give back. So I got fired from that rock raking job. I protested. I was like, listen, I'm allergic to bees. Like, you're going to give me an EpiPen. Like, I pulled out, and the inmate letter is in there to prove what I'm saying. It went all the way, they got me off the job. And then I got fired from this other job, and I got fired from this other job, and I got fired from this other job because I taught a lot of women how to read. And I taught them how to do multiplication tables so they could pass their mandatory exam and get out of prison sooner. And collectively, I earned over 50 years off women's prison sentences in 9 months by helping them learn how to read. So that was huge. And I'm still friends with a few of these women I still keep in contact with. And I love them dearly, even though one of them probably will die of fentanyl, who knows when. But I still love her. I almost helped deliver her baby, too. A lot of things happen in there. And if you want to see what's in my box after the show, I'll be happy to share with anybody what's in my box. There's interesting things from peanuts to panties. They're all in there. I saved everything. And but everything I do every day is I do within the best of my heart. Because I know that if I don't share what I have up here and what I have up right here, that God is going to take it from me again. And that would be a tragedy, because I have a lot of really great stuff to share. And I hope that you can enjoy me in your community, and I can be your town butcher, and I can just be happy, and you can enjoy my Barbies in the window. They're an embodiment of my soul. So that's all I have to say. It was a pleasure being able to share my story tonight.